Alrighty, hello. Joining us again for another interesting episode of the show, the Football Fan Zone. As usual, please don't forget to do the right things, the needful. Please like our posts, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, drop us a comment if you have anything. If you have, let us want to hear from you. Want to hear your opinions on the show, and if you have any suggestions for us, let us know. Alrighty, so let's get down to business. It was another interesting weekend of Premier League action, Carabao Cup final, and some Champions League action as well during the midweek. We'll get into that and a whole lot more during the show. As usual, we have usual suspects in the house. We have Uzo joining us. Uzo, how was your weekend? No sport ruin your weekend, so I guess you're feeling good.
Yeah, this is why they say like it's better to be in multiple competitions because sometimes after a bad result, the one thing you want is to be able to move on to the next game, kind of get that bitter taste out of your mouth. So we've just been in the fan base stewing on that loss for 2 weeks now. It's just everything's doom and gloom. Everybody hates everybody. So, but it's been a good weekend. At least they couldn't add more misery. So I got to really, really hate watch all of my rivals, and it's been sensational. Bar a few results, but sensational. We'll get into it though.
I great. All right. Adams is also joining us. Adams, the Chelsea fan. Let me ask you.
Well, did you say something else?
No, 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 no.
Uh, I mean, man, I'm just here to take everything with chest. Just take it with chest. I know I'm getting cooked today, but
No.
yeah, it was a very interesting game to say the least. It was really interesting. It was really interesting.
Okay, okay, all right. Don't worry, nobody's cooking you under my watch. Anybody that tries to cook you will be taken off the show. All right, okay. So there's only one place to start. The Carabao Cup final, Chelsea versus Liverpool. Um, wow, it ended Liverpool winning by a goal to nil, courtesy of their captain on the night, Virgil van Dijk, the best defender the Premier League has ever seen. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you
No,
have the right to say anything right now. You
no,
have the right to say anything.
yeah, yeah, so coming up clutch, with a timely winner just before we thought, oh, we're going into penalties. Yeah, so as a Liverpool fan, right now I'm on top of the world right now, feeling very good about myself. Let me quickly touch on the game before I bring you guys in to give your opinions and perspectives. Um, well, going into the game, looking at the players available, the players fit, as a Liverpool fan, I wasn't confident at all. We had our hopes high a day or 2 days before the game that Mohamed Salah and I think it was Sobozlai or Nunez were training, so they were going to be fit. Only for us to see the team sheet before the game, and we're like, wow, this is going to be a very tough one. And and going through the game, throughout the game, 90 minutes, I was at the edge of my seat. I just thought, wow, Chelsea will just somehow nick this one, especially when Liverpool had our chances were just coming and we couldn't take them. It just felt like, wow, it was going to be inevitable and then Chelsea will win it. And something like I told you, Adam, before we started the recording, I said I was just praying for Liverpool to win it in 90 minutes. I didn't want extra time. You could see the fatigue was coming in, and then if you looked at the options that we had on the bench, academy players,
Mhm.
Benoni, Jaden Dance, Bobby Clark. So it was just like, man, Chelsea was going to take it eventually in extra time. But as the game progressed, my confidence grew, and I was like, this extra time is not going the way I thought it would. I thought Chelsea was going to pepper us, and especially bringing in, somebody Liverpool fan joke said, oh, Liverpool are bringing in academy players and Chelsea are bringing in 90 million pound players, 100 million pounds players, and at the end of the day, they couldn't get the job done. But at the end of the day, from a Liverpool point of view, man, I'm over the moon. I think Jurgen Klopp deserves this. on his farewell tower. The Jurgen Klopp farewell tower continues. So one, he has picked up one for the road. 3 more to go. I was telling you guys before, I don't know, some weeks ago, we're going for all four, the quadruple. Okay, I'm joking, of course. We're not going for the quadruple, but nice, nice, nice win, All right, so let me bring you in, first of all. I don't know if you saw the game. What were your thoughts on the game? Touch on First of all, just touch on Liverpool before we move ahead to Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that we allowed Pius to kick this off because he brings too much context. He's too balanced. He's too reserved in his judgment. I think we're gonna get to the analytics. We're gonna get to the stats. We're gonna get to the proper interpretation of the game. But there's only one place to start. We have to start with jokes, bro. I'm sorry. We have to start with jokes. This is a team that was assembled for the GDP of a small country in South America. This is
Wow.
a team, right, whose ownership came in with the intention to dominate football, and they spoke big, they spent big, they moved their weight around, they shrugged their agbada, they slapped people out of the way, they grabbed players from Barcelona, slapped them. Liverpool, slap them. City, oh, you want Cucurella? We're gonna go get them. Oh, who does anybody want? Who are your scouts looking at? Oh, Brighton, how about we just take your whole team? Oh, that's not good enough. Let's grab your manager too. Oh, he's bad. Sack him. No problem. Let's get another scout, another sporting director. Brighton, what do you have for me? And I've always said, you know what? I went back and I rewound the tape because I've been getting pelters because apparently I sold dreams about Pochettino when I came on this show, right? So I
Yeah.
went and did some deep digging. Because you know me, I can't let allegations just fly around about my name, my prestigious name, because of a butler. So I said, let me go and check the stats. Let me go check the tape. And I remember telling Chelsea fans one word: you're going to have to lower your expectations. Do you remember me saying that, Adams? I said, no, you're not going to. I'm not saying you should lower your expectations. You're going to have to. And that was one thing I said about the ownership. I said, this man has bought the club. He is moving in the way that he deems fit. He doesn't give a fuck about the club's heritage, about the club's history, about who came before him, who's done what. The first thing he did, he came in, he sacked everybody. Tuchel didn't respond in the group chat. Get out of here. This is Todd Bowley's Chelsea. It is being shaped in his image. I know he's just a front man for the Egbali and all
Yeah.
these guys, the consortium, right? We're learning all these new words, consortium. We're learning about amortization, all of these random words. Listen, just play ball, bro. Just play ball. And that is the problem that's been going on at Chelsea since Putin invaded Ukraine. They've stopped playing ball. It's been everything else but. It's about signings. It's about daycare. It's about going to go and get the next flashy masquerade to come and dance at halftime. This team has lost their way. They've lost their identity. They've lost their passion for the sport. They've lost their DNA for winning. They're now being led by academy kids who, granted, they grew up in the same era of winning, but
Yeah.
they didn't contribute to winning. These guys aren't, they're not molded in the image of who Chelsea naturally are. There ain't no John Terry's walking through the door. There's no more Ivanovich's walking through the door. There's no more Michael Essien's and Didier Drogba's walking through the door. You're now in the hands of the guys who idolized those guys growing up. That doesn't mean they can replicate the same success. So Chelsea, respectfully, disrespectfully, they have to hold this. They have to hold this because your new ownership came in, and I would understand if Chelsea fans were cautious or measured when they were analyzing the new ownership. What did they do? No, they joined. And like I said, you always take on the identity of your club. Chelsea fans were bullying every. I remember there was popular Chelsea influencers going on shows wearing dark shades and suits like Men in Black when they were stealing people's signings. They were like, "Oh, you thought Roman leaving meant we were done? We're Chelsea. We're still here. We still spend big. We still do this. We still grab your players. We still have pedigree. Pride of London." This is where it has gotten you. Money can't solve everything, bro. Money cannot solve everything. They've spent billions of the great British pounds on players that we don't even know if they are good. I'm not talking about we don't even know if they're great. We don't know if they're going to be superstars. We don't even know if these guys are average. A lot of the things that we're realizing now, and I said this a couple shows back, You can't stake the house on an unknown quantity. You just cannot afford to. Large companies don't do that. Google is not going to go and buy some guy in his backyard's new invention and he says, "Oh, yeah, I think this can work." They only buy the thing that already works. Oh, you have a mail system that's already out there. We're going to buy it and name it Gmail. Elon Musk. Oh, there's already a social media that's working. We're going to go ahead and buy that and name it X. We don't go buying, oh, one Jumbo is in his basement and he's invented some new dating app. He's called it Hangouts. You don't know if it's going to work. He has some new ideology. You don't know this guy from Adam, no pun intended. But you go and buy it for billions and billions of pounds, just overestimating the valuation. This is the problem when people come in with a business mindset. We've seen it doesn't work. We've seen it didn't work at United. And after Sir Alex left, we see that the business model does not work. Daniel Levy has been running a business model at Spurs. Sure, it's going to be sustainable. Sure, they're going to get a brand new stadium out of it. I bet you Chelsea's going to get a brand new stadium. They're going to have an NFL partnership. They're going to get all of these teams coming to visit. They're going to get the halftime shows. Don't worry, Beyonce and Wizkid are coming. Chelsea fans, get used to the Spurs. If you want some tips on how to handle this kind of adversity, don't worry, hit me up. We're here all day. We're here. I'm just started cooking. We're going to get to the facts later, but for now, they just have to hold this. You don't spend that much money. You don't tout all those signings in people's faces, thinking you've signed superstars, and then get to play the victim in the end. I remember when they had the draw at City, 1-1, right? When that last goal went in, the commentator was like, "Oh, poor Chelsea. They've been so valiant. They've fought so hard." You would have thought he was talking about Sheffield United. You would have thought he was talking about Burnley. You would have thought he was talking about Brentford fighting relegation. He's talking about £1 billion spent. Pride of London, the last team, the only team in London in recent memory to win Champions League titles. That's what he's talking about. Is saying brave Chelsea for a draw at the Etihad where you sat in behind the entire game. No, 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 no. We are not letting it slide. All the slander, all the big chest. You guys, it's time to pay up. Adams, it's time to pay up. We're here to collect. We're here to collect. You thought you could sneak out with a trophy with Spurs' greatest ever manager in recent memory. No, 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 no. You can take the man out of the Spurs. You can't take the Spurs out of the man.
All right, Uzo. All right. Okay, so let me come to Adams, the Chelsea fan who is, trying to get over the loss today. Adams, quite disappointing for Chelsea. I think I was seeing somewhere Chelsea have lost their last six Wembley finals, like six on the bounce. That is not. That is not. I know there was a time during when I was in secondary school, they usually say Wembley was Chelsea's second home because once
Absolutely,
Chelsea
yeah.
was in finals, FA Cup, they
You knew
always
it. You
win.
knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I even mentioned to you before the show, Chelsea, they are part of the people that ruined my childhood. I remember losing some FA Cup finals, Drogba, you know. But yeah, like I said, it's Liverpool's time to shine. But all right, coming to Chelsea, what do you what was your takeout from the game? Just spoil your mind.
Yeah, I said I'm coming here. I'm coming here to take the portion of the cooking because well deserved, bro. And I'll start by saying Liverpool, man, what a team! Someone said they showed to us the team we're not. Like, right? What a team that is, man! What a team! I sat here and said Liverpool can't win the league. They play a certain type of way. They're this type of team, but today, respect, bro. Like they came with like a third string. Forget about we'll get into the Chelsea thing, but like they came with like almost a team C, and you could see the culture around the team. You could see that those players felt like they earned it. You
Yeah.
saw Bradley playing in different positions. You saw Gomez coming almost close to halftime, giving a shift. Players I heard nothing about. I don't even know their name. Ben, what did you call his name? Ben Doak I can't remember what his name was. The guy with the
Yeah.
afro,
Yeah, that's
and
Jody Dance, yeah.
they earned their right to play, and they played. And for Chelsea, bro, if you're a Chelsea fan and you're not fuming at this, then you're part of the problem. This is absolutely embarrassing. And we talk about things that start a culture or things mind shifts, things that happen that starts an era. We remember take your minds back to, I think it was 0405. The first title we won was a Carling Cup against the Liverpool side, 3-2 at Cardiff. That was
Yeah.
to kickstart the Abramovich era. This is to kickstart the Todd Bowley era. And Chelsea fans, you are in for a long run. If you don't know anything, just grab your whatever, your seat belts and just buckle in. It's about to be a bumpy ride because this has just shown what is going to happen over the next 10 years because I don't see them leaving the club, right? And like, as Uzo has rightly said, it is a start of an era because I feel like this is going to be a whole new Chelsea, a whole new
Okay.
Chelsea.
Okay, when you say you don't see them leaving the club, like who are you like referring to? Which
I'm
specific?
talking about I'm talking about the Bluco Consortium.
Okay, okay.
Well, because we if we have to look at them, right? We
Okay,
have to look
so
at
they
them.
are you saying that, sorry to cut you, are you saying that the major problem of
They
Chelsea
are the
right now?
start of the problem. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
They are the start of the problem, right? The players that they've signed, the decisions that they've made, right? The coaches that they've chosen to appoint has brought us to this level, right? And then we can talk about the coaches, we can talk about the consortium, but some of those players need to take a hard look at themselves.
Yeah.
Some of those
Nice.
players need to take a hard look at themselves. You can't cost 100 million, you can't cost 105 million pounds, and you think that we won't come for you. Like
Yeah.
it makes no sense. Like we bought you for a reason, and you are the one you're supposed to fight for this shit. Yesterday on a space, I was saying like I'm looking for characters. I'm looking for guys to ingrain their name in the folklore of this club, in to become cult heroes. I was expecting guys to stand up and be counted, and none of them showed up today. I'm sorry, like none of them showed up today. The amount of chances that we missed, like it is comical. And then going back to the coach, he definitely has to be blamed. And someone said something, said if you ask of how is Pochettino's Chelsea, this game is a perfect example. This is exactly how we are. This is Pochettino's Chelsea. This right here is Pochettino's Chelsea. And being a sports manager, he knows nothing about winning trophies. That's just the truth. And this is not a dig at sports, but we chose to go for him, right? We didn't have regard for the culture of this club. He didn't have Todd Bowley and Co. He didn't have regard for the culture, for the heritage, for the history behind this club. I don't think Liverpool will go and settle for an Everton manager that overachieved. Liverpool is never going to hire Moyes,
Never.
right?
Never.
So
Yeah.
there's something about, and this is Chelsea, bro. We don't have any affiliation to any manager like apart from Jose, which even some Chelsea fans really feel like he coached at Spurs, he coached at Manchester United. Come here and do your thing. Like that's how it is as a coach for Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Come here and do your thing. And this was a golden opportunity for you to get something for yourself, even if a lot of Chelsea fans were against you. But at least you could leave holding yourself or opening your hands up high. Like, I mean, I did my best. I tried my best. I got them something. But yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to ask you, right? So, as you're speaking, I just remembered the era of the for as a Liverpool fan, the end of the Brendan Rodgers era and the start of the Jurgen Klopp era, right? So I remember that time there was this mention around, oh, part of the problem of why Liverpool wasn't performing during the Rodgers era was, oh, the players were not Rodgers' players. There was something called the transfer committee higher up at the corporate echelon of the club who were responsible for dictating transfers for the club. So bringing it to Chelsea now, right? Because there's something I spotted today during the trophy and the medal presentation when Chelsea were going to collect their consolation. I'm sure you saw the video where Pochettino evaded Boli. He did like he didn't even see him. Boli tried to reach out to him and he just moved away. So is there from your own understanding, right, as a Chelsea fan, do you feel like some of the players that were signed were not Pochettino's players, or and then the relationship between Pochettino and Boli, where will you put that at?
bro, I swear I don't even care about all those things right now, man. Like I'm tired. I don't even care about all those
But
things. But we've seen coach like yes, that's why I say like from the top to the bottom, right?
mm,
They just decided to sign, like he said, decided to sign unknown kids, right? Right. They signed people and then they hoped that Potter can somehow come and mold them into superstars, right?
yeah,
And then that didn't work and they decided to get Pochettino. So it's the same thing, right? Pochettino knew what he was getting into. He definitely knew what he was getting into, right? He knew that we already had Enzo, we had what's his name? We had Modric, we had Madueke, we had I think the only people we signed after he came was Caicedo and Palmer, maybe yeah,
Lavia.
Jackson,
Mm,
Lavia. Those are like the few people that we signed. So he knew what he was getting into, right? Granted that it wasn't the greatest idea what they did, but like I always say, you just know. Like when Klopp came in, all the players that he had were not his players, but you
yeah.
could see. We talked about Spurs too, right? Before we started recording, I was saying Spurs. You can see they have an identity. You can see what's going on right now. Like you can see that they are building something. You can see that you can tell some of the players that are not going to be there anymore. You can tell, right? Because the coach has made that clear and it has shown. He doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to
Mm,
say Dyer shouldn't play anymore. He doesn't have to say that. Like you can tell, right? But now we don't even know who is who in the Chelsea squad. We don't even know what player we can rely on. We don't know. Like the coach has not made that clear. He has not been ruthless enough. He has not been dynamic enough to try new things, to be brave, to be bold. And yeah, it's just he definitely has a portion of blame.
mm,
Boli and Co as well. I think they also you are also going to blame them. But to me, I feel like Pochettino right now as a coach, you should do better than that. You should definitely
mm.
do better than that.
Okay. Adams, before we move on from Chelsea, right? My final question to you before I bring Uzo in. Right. So Carabao Cup now is gone. There's just one trophy left for Pochettino to possibly redeem himself. The FA
Come on,
Cup.
bro. Come on, bro. He's
Hold
not
on.
redeeming. He's not redeeming himself, and he's not doing anything,
Wow.
man. He's not. There's not. Look, I said this is an era defining moment for us.
So
Now
even if he somehow wins the FA Cup, you are not.
he's not winning the FA Cup.
Ah.
Like how I am about my team. You know how positive I am. I
Yeah.
never, even if it's very obvious that we're going to lose, because that's just part of who I am. That's part of being a fan. But
Yeah.
they are just defining moments for your club, and this loss feels like a defining moment for me. Forget about the club. It feels like I now know what this team is about.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Let me just say. Let me
You know,
just. I think.
today is not the day, in my opinion, just to chime in before we move on from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Today is not the day to try to delve into any sort of depth about what he took over, what he needs, what he doesn't have, because today he was outclassed by a man who had nothing. I feel like there's timing with everything, right? And one thing I love about football, I think I'm trying to remember which manager said it best. It's a very simple quote. It's played on the pitch between the white lines. Everything
Yeah.
else outside of that gets decided by what happens within those confines. And today we put all the speculation, all the well, you don't know what's going on inside the club, you don't know what's this.
That's
All of that
exactly.
got put to bed right in
Today
front of
was
our
it was
very
it was
eyes.
11v11 on the pitch,
Right.
and this is what we saw right from minute one, bro. Right from minute one, you just knew. Like I knew it. Like I was like, no, this can't be happening. At first, I was surprised. I thought I was going to see Salah start. I was tweeting it yesterday. I said, "This is what they always say," and then we see
Yes.
Salah and Nunes start. I didn't see them on the bench. I'm like, okay, this has to be this has Chelsea written all over it. I'm like, I'm desperate
Same.
for Pochettino to succeed. Maybe
Yeah.
because I don't see a way out of this. I couldn't see a way out of this. I was desperate for him to succeed, to just somehow fraud his way into it, to getting a trophy. And this was set up nicely for him. This was set up nicely for him. You couldn't ask for more favors. You
Yeah.
couldn't ask for more favors
I agree.
today.
the manner of the defeat was kind of embarrassing. Looking at the squad Liverpool had, and then the quality, and especially the bench. Look at the quality of players Chelsea were
There was
calling
no
on from the
one on the
bench.
bench for Liverpool. You see the
Sorry.
players we had on the bench,
Yeah.
bro. This is like you said. This is 11v11, and he got outclassed. And the funny thing is, we were always just relying on moments. We're relying on moments, right? You see Liverpool style, even with this third team, you see their style of play. You see how they were putting pressure on our centre backs. You saw how many mistakes Disasi and Kowi made. The only
Media.
thing was that they started to get out of gas, right? They started to
Yeah.
lose their legs. They started to get
Yeah.
tired. That
Tired.
was the only thing. That was the only way we could get those chances. So you're telling me without that, we can't dominate a third string Liverpool side?
I don't.
That's what we call a damning indictment on indictment on a manager. It's one of those. I remember there was when Jose was going to get sacked at United, he went to Liverpool, got dominated 3-1. Shaqiri was on the scoreline twice.
Yeah.
Moments like that, you kind of sit back and you go,
You just know, like
there's
that's it.
there's always kind of a place where it starts to teeter, and I mean we've seen it even with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing to Watford and then getting absolutely blammed off the park at I think Liverpool came to Old Trafford and beat him 5-0, and then same with Ten Hag. You guys know how I feel about Ten Hag. I thought 7-0 told me all I needed to know. You don't come back from that as a manager. I've always felt that way. Once you choose to give faith to that kind of manager, the players have lost respect for you. You think players are coming back in after getting destroyed 7-0 by their closest rivals, and they think that you as a manager have anything about you? They don't think that.
Yeah.
So I think with Pochettino, right from the beginning of time, you can tell that that's not a Chelsea manager, right? However, it's a new Chelsea, right? It's a new Chelsea, and this is the new reality. So, this is the kind of manager that Bowley has been going after since he got there. The names
Mm.
that you've heard have been guys who are a bit young, a bit unproven, a bit sort of attractive in terms of their style, sort of empathetic beings. A Nagelsmann, Poch, Pota. These are the kinds of names. You know what I mean? None of them particularly have these great resumes that a Chelsea manager would normally be required to have, but they all have that same charisma, that same works with youth, all of those kind of like plaudits and accolades. And I think Chelsea fans need to read the bright neon sign writing on the wall. You're not that team anymore. Get used to the new reality. Because even after he leaves, after Poch is inevitably kicked out, the next manager is going to be in the same
That's my
mold.
greatest fear. That's
It's
what I'm
going to
saying.
be
This is
probably a Ruben Amorim or Oliver Glasner, one of those kind of guys.
this
Who
is
knows?
that's
You
what
might
I'm
go
Oh,
get
saying.
Gary O'Neill.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying.
Just get used to the new reality, bro.
This
Oh,
is an yeah, this
You
is
Nagelsmann.
have a
a
bunch of kids. You
this
have
is
a
a
bunch of kids. That's the identity of the team.
an
Okay.
era defining moment. This is the era. This is the Chelsea era. This loss, the way we lost to Liverpool like this, showed to me that, all I needed to know. At first, I was like, you know what? It could work. Poch could do this, and we could identify some members of the team, and we could get a better coach, and we could go from there. But this loss just showed to me that there's nothing. And the way we lost too, like the same thing we've been saying all season, to lose like that against this Liverpool side. Let's see, we're 10th for a reason. We're 10th for a reason. And it could be worse. We should probably like a lot of times I watch Chelsea and
I
I
think you're
say,
actually 11th now. So
yeah, 11th. A lot of times I watch Chelsea, I'm like, we're not better than many teams in the Premier League. We're not better than that many teams in the Premier League. Let's be honest. We're not. I look at Wolves. I think Wolves might be better than Chelsea. Bournemouth might be better than Chelsea.
Wow.
Like the only teams that I say like we are better than are, the obvious Watford, Sheffield, and I'm losing the other one. Maybe Luton and those teams. The rest of the teams, bro,
Yeah.
it's not clear. Like there's a struggle. It's not clear. Like I don't think we're better than many teams in Premier League right now.
So yeah, that's a fair point, right? Chelsea are not like they don't look like they're better than some of those teams you've called. Okay, I just wanted to point out as well, right? So when Liverpool sacked Rodgers, right? I always like because I remember Liverpool when we sacked Rodgers and brought in Klopp, right? There was I don't know, there was that it was almost like the same thing with what Chelsea is right. That Liverpool team was almost like there was nothing they could achieve, like And then Klopp came in. Look at the squad of players that were there. I don't even think they were up to the quality of standard that Chelsea have right now. So I feel if Chelsea can get the right person, right, if they when they eventually sack Pochettino, right, if they can get somebody, maybe it might not be in the mood of a club, right, but a decent manager, why not? Chelsea fans might not need to wait too long to start seeing
Yeah, it will
their
look
team
like
winning.
it will be like light and day, the difference.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the most recent memory we can think of is Gerard in Aston Villa and Unai Emery coming in, and he
yeah,
looks like another team.
exactly. You know,
We've seen something similar to that in Lampard and Tuchel, like that moment. Like it wasn't this bad, but that Lampard's team was horrible. And Tuchel came in and it looked like they were different. Like
yeah,
it was just different guys, but it was the same guys. And
yeah,
people talk
exactly.
about missing chances. Do you know? Let's be honest with ourselves. Missing chances didn't start today with Chelsea. There's a reason why Kai Havertz is now scoring goals in Arsenal.
Arsenal,
There's a reason why Lukaku is now somehow, you know, scoring goals in Roma. At least scoring more than he scored in at Chelsea.
Chelsea.
We've always said that our attackers struggle. It's becoming a cultural thing for us. It's becoming a cultural thing. They go and check any Chelsea attackers comps. You will see a lot of missing. You can talk about Timo Werner. You can talk about Havertz, Lukaku, name it,
Morata.
Morata. But the difference is those coaches still found a way to be effective. We talked about Thomas Tuchel and then guys like Rhys James were scoring goals. We just found a way to win games, but our
Yeah.
attack was just as bad as it is right now. But there was not a lot
Okay.
of focus because we still won, right?
1 year.
It's the same thing now. So it's everything is not primarily on the players. The players,
Yeah.
yes, maybe it could have been a lot better if we had more experienced players, if they had done, their diligence to understand the history of Chelsea and buy players according to the way we are. But this coach, there's no coming back from this for him, man.
Okay. Okay. Right. We're in this part of the season now where the games are coming in thick and fast. So Wednesday, Chelsea switch their attention now to the FA Cup. Wednesday, you're playing Leeds, high flying Leeds in the Championship. Right now they are full of confidence. Let me just get your prediction, Adams. Are you seeing Chelsea knocked out of the
No,
FA Cup?
I'm sorry, I can't give you anything, man. I can't give you anything right now. Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say?
You're
That
supposed
one
to say, you're supposed to say Chelsea will bounce back.
Nah,
Come
man,
on.
this is not. This doesn't
I
look good.
understand. Yeah, I'm sure
It
if I
doesn't
ask you
look good.
tomorrow
No,
morning privately,
we've
you say
lost
we
some
win.
finals. We've lost some finals. I remember losing. I remember losing under Lampard Super Cup final against Liverpool, and I
Yeah,
left there saying, okay, we lost, but
but yeah, it
yeah,
was good effort. Yeah, you could still see.
yeah, it
Yeah,
felt better, right? But today, even we joke a lot about the two finals and the Mason Mount moments, and we always crucify him for those chances that he missed against Liverpool.
yeah.
I think those seasons, I think it was 2 seasons
Two
ago.
seasons ago. Yeah.
And even then, I still left thinking that it could be better. But now,
Hmm.
and I've never. This is a very different feeling for me. I've never felt this way about my team,
Wow.
ever. I've never felt like it was over, but I do feel
Wow.
like it's over right now. I do, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right. Before we leave Chelsea, right? Uzo, do you have any comforting words for Adams as regards the future of Chelsea?
Before I reassure my friend Adams, I do want to touch on Liverpool because I feel like we just had a 34-minute funeral for Chelsea, and deservedly so because I think one thing besides this podcast, at least one thing that has been annoying me is how Chelsea have kind of been allowed to get away with this absolute degradation of the sport for like the last year and a half. Because honestly, no one should be allowed to get away with what they're doing, right? So I'm glad that we did spend time to properly give them the negative attention that they deserve. And because the entire institution, everybody has to fix up. As much as we're all laughing, like that's not acceptable, right? By any standard of the association. But I do want to give Liverpool their flowers as well, right? Um, as a friend of Liverpool today, because I'm obviously like my vested interest was in not seeing Pochettino lift the trophy. I can say that comfortably
That
now
was
that it hasn't
to be
happened.
honest, in hindsight, I don't think that was ever going to happen. We could play this in a million scenarios. I don't think he's ever going to win.
Yeah, he has a glass ceiling. You know, I mean, it's clear that it's a managerial thing with him. Like he tends to freeze up in the tough. I think his quotes about the decision to play for penalties sums up his entire mentality in one statement. So you know, that's just who he is. That's who he's always been, and there's no surprise, you know, that it's played out in his managerial career. But from the Liverpool side of things, like wow, you know, I thought that when Klopp did this same academy thing against Arsenal, like people were saying he's trying to throw the game because they have too many games, too many injuries. He
Yeah.
just didn't want to go to penalties. He didn't want to replay. He said, you know, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm starting to think a little bit more deeply about this, right? One thing that I've noticed about Klopp, right, is it feels like everyone who plays for him has an unnatural amount of confidence, right?
Yeah.
Besides Karius, right? Karius is probably the outlier in this situation.
Yeah. The
But
anomaly.
right, he's the anomaly. But one thing I've noticed is one thing you can guarantee, right? Bare minimum, and let's remove tactics now, is when a player signs for Klopp, their confidence level goes up, no
Oh
matter
yeah,
who they are.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can look at Wataru Endo. You can look at
That
McAllister.
was the first
You
name
can
on my
look
list,
at
man. Yeah. Wataru
so
Endo.
so so when I see that in a manager, because I think that's something that the guys at the very top have. The reason the moment I knew Jose had lost his managerial touch was when he couldn't get the most out of core players anymore. When he started to make excuses and throw the players under the bus and say that they underperformed and they don't listen and there's a new generation. And I knew there was a disconnect. You can't relate to these guys anymore. You can't get stuff. That is the essence of management, is being able to bring
Hmm.
something out of someone that
Yeah.
otherwise isn't there. If you can't do that, then well, if that wasn't a necessity in the role, then there's no point in even having a manager. If it's just somebody to do X and O's, then you only need those coaches that sit in. People don't realize this. No manager is primarily responsible for all of the tactics in the club. There's not even Pep.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Pep's style has morphed over the years, right? There's specialist coaches who coach set pieces, coach attack, coach
Yeah.
zones, coach this. Everybody's responsible for their own little X and O's. The manager is the guy who brings the soul out of the club. And so I have to give Klopp the biggest applause. I think he's the best man manager that we've seen since Jose came into this league, right? In terms of man management. I
Yeah.
don't I Since Jose, I can't think of a single person who has been able to get more consistently out of players that are below the level in the Premier League. I'm not saying in the entire world, but in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I look at Pep. Pep is an exquisite manager. I'm not going to take anything away from him. And he has his own methods and it works. And he's much better than Klopp. I will say that. I'm putting that out there. But when it comes to man management, getting the most out of shit, Klopp is clear for me. And so I have to give him his flowers. I have to give Liverpool their flowers. I think that was an insane showcase of belief, of fight, of desire, of passion. People say, oh, passion doesn't win you things. When people come out and say, oh, we want the players to show this, show fight. Adams was saying it about the Super Eagles players, right? Last episode. And, you know, we kind of mocked it. We always say, oh, no, it's quality, it's this, is that. Those academy kids don't have more quality than Enzo and Caicedo and Mudryk. They don't have more. I don't care what you say. Jaden Dance doesn't have more quality than Nicholas Jackson. Is
No.
objectively speaking, he just does not. But one thing that was on show on that pitch was there was a golf in class, in passion, and in desire and in fight. That's just the simple truth.
We
And
talked
it
about
tells
it.
you that no matter what, when it gets back down to the basics, passion, desire, fight, belief, that's what matters the most. in any single thing that you do. Anything you do without conviction, you might as well just not do it at all.
Yeah.
And to get off the soapbox of praising Liverpool, one thing I would say for Adams going forward, my word of advice as a Spurs fan, get ready for Beyonce. You will like whiskey. Odumodu Black will be in your stadium soon. Enjoy the ride, brother. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Oh man.
Enjoy the ride. We love to see it. We've been looking for twins in London since.
Oh
All
my
you guys have been
goodness.
forming fake high standard gimmick. Welcome.
Oh
Welcome.
my goodness.
Welcome.
Yeah, man. This
Yes.
is
All right.
not bully. This is all you,
The
man.
$1 billion blue bottle jobs.
Bro.
All
6
right,
finals
guys.
in a row.
That's the
Holy.
name. That's the name of this episode. That's the name of this episode.
All right. £1 billion, but oh my goodness, Gary Neville was not serious.
Yeah, he cooked with that one. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
He cooked with that
Okay.
one.
All right. Before we move, from a Liverpool point of view, man, I just like I was saying, telling you that the club's
Bro,
farewell
we are
tour,
tired
I
of
just
Liverpool's point. You guys won. Can we move on to the
yeah,
next
just
one?
finally, I just hope for club's sake. I think he deserves it. I think we need to win the remaining trophies on offer, man. Deserves a perfect send off.
Please. So please.
All right.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down.
Bro,
Okay, yes.
Let's slow
it's not getting any easier than this, though. It's not
Of
getting
course.
any easier than this.
Yeah, of
This
course. For
is-
Liverpool, it's not.
this is-
Injuries are piling up, and
Well, Klopp did mention that to him, he said this is his most, I think, important or his best trophy in the last 20
he's
years.
just saying that to say that. I beg.
No.
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
circumstances for me, right? When I think when you say it doesn't get any easier from here, it's like, okay, well, if they get all of their players back, then technically it does.
No, I mean,
It
like,
doesn't
it
get
doesn't.
any harder than
In
trying to
terms of
win
the
with kids.
opposition that they face, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna play an
Catch
easier
22.
final than this with your third.
Yeah, you're not, but you're also not going to play under the same circumstances.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
not.
if we're being objective. But I don't think Liverpool are really in line to. I mean, of course, like Pius is saying, they're in line to win the fake quadruple with the Europa League that no one will ever respect, even if they manage to do it. But I don't. Of course, it doesn't get easier for Liverpool from here. I think they take a lot of belief going forward. But Pius, I don't think that. There's something I've been saying, right? There's no fairy tale in football. There's
Are
none.
you sure?
There's
Are
not.
you
It doesn't
sure?
exist.
Are you sure? We
There's
saw
none.
one in the African Cup of Nations. I was
Now,
telling
The
you.
last
That was
the last person to get a fairy tale ending, I would say, was probably Sir Alex. And honestly, it wasn't that much of a fairy tale, even though he did win the league in his final season. He had lost a lot of his mystique in the years that followed, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't having the same success in Europe. He wasn't having the same success domestically. He won a trophy, granted, and it was a perfect send off. But when you're talking about fairy tales, it doesn't exist, brother. There's something that Draymond Green said to Paul Pierce in basketball. They don't love you like that, bro. This sport don't love you like that, club.
They're not doing.
All
They're
right,
I
not doing the
supported you
farewell.
against Chelsea.
The farewell
All
tour.
right.
No
All
farewell
right,
tour.
man.
Uzo's hate is here.
So, as a Liverpool fan, I'm going to tell you now that we're going to come back to this. Okay.
No farewell
Let's-
tour, man. No
okay.
farewell tour. That's the bus stop right there.
All right. We'll see.
This
We'll
is
see
the
how
height of
goes.
it.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's move on now from Chelsea Liverpool. Another Premier League game was played this weekend. Manchester United lost at home to Fulham, 2
My
goals to 1.
boys. My
So-
boys.
It was the Niger show at Old Trafford. It was two Nigerians, Alex Iwobi and Mbasi, coming up with the goals to defeat Manchester United, 2 goals to 1. Of course, the story will be more on Manchester United losing at home. So this was their first loss in 2024. Up until yesterday or the game, they will be flying, winning. There's been some sort of positive vibes around Manchester United. The Sir Jim Ratcliffe, takeover. They've snatched one spot. I think some couple of high caliber people in football. One from Newcastle, one from Manchester City. So there's been some sort of Manchester United are coming back, to their old self, their usual self. One of the biggest clubs in England, of course. So there was some sort of positive vibes, only for the Niger boys to turn up, and then burst their bubble, you know. Somebody said that, you know, somebody said Onana thought he escaped Nigeria and AFCON, only to come and jam them in the EPL.
That was
Yes, of
funny.
course, as a Liverpool fan and as a Nigerian, it was perfect. I had a good day yesterday as well, you know. I was just laughing at the trolling of Manchester United fans on social media, man. I'm sorry, but it was good, you know. And you know, I think for Manchester United, I think Uzo, we've spoken about them in former episodes of the show. You know about you. I think you mentioned something like Ten Hag is not that man. You know, and then even the games they've played leading up to the game they played yesterday, right? They've been scraping wins. I remember I saw the game against Aston Villa. They won that game, but I don't know. Would I say they were lucky, or you know, or the opponents did not just take their chances? Even the game against Luton before this one as well, they just kind of like scraped over the line. So yeah, as a neutral or as somebody looking out from outside, you could say, well, this defeat was coming, and then inevitably it came yesterday. So my question to you would be, where do you assess Manchester United right now, and then I would also like to touch about on. I would also like you to touch on Marcus Rashford. What do you think his problem? Do you think there's something wrong, or what's your take?
This is something I got straight from a United fan, right, on YouTube. That I was, because one thing I love to do is, after a successful hate watch session, I like to go to YouTube and bask in the glory of the tears. This is what we watch the sport for. But one thing that a United fan, this is straight from a United fan, so there's no agenda. You guys know I've stopped dissing United ever since their fans came for me. I told them, keep the manager. That's your identity. That's your level. And it's funny, since I made that statement, United have fully embraced this underdog, counter-attacking, rubbish style gimmick, right? They've played that way in every single game. And it's very interesting to note. But maybe Ten Hag watches this pod. Stop watching. But this is straight from a United fan. He said this team defies all logical kind of analysis of this sport. That's what he said. He was like, they defy any logical analysis that you can have for Manchester United. You'd probably be wrong, and people will probably cook you because you're wrong, because they defy any logic. It There's no way that they're simultaneously one of the worst teams that I've seen in this decade in the Premier League, and also one of the highest performing teams. It's the most bizarre like circumstances I've ever seen in my life. So now they sit perfectly on 0 goal difference, 8 points off top four. 3 points behind Spurs. Obviously, we have a game in hand, and it feels like I've lived 8 generations with this United team. I don't understand what's going on. You don't know what to expect from a game to game basis. When you think that they've lost, that's usually when they win. When you think that they've won, they somehow manage to snatch the feet out of the jaws of victory. They're the most polarizing team that I've ever witnessed in this Premier League era. And I think I'm even bored now of blaming the coach, right? I'm bored of blaming the coach, because I look at Ten Hag and I say, did he particularly meet good circumstances at the club? No, not really. They were coming off of their worst season ever. Um, did he meet a structure? Of course not. Did he meet a style of play, a sporting director that was going to influence his signings? No. He came in, he was deemed a savior because he played good football at Ajax. They gave him a budget. They told him sign whoever you want. He brought all his cousins, all his boys from old clubs. He got them paid. That's what you should do, right? We're all Nigerians. We know what politicians do here. You get a position, you got to feed the family, bro. You have to. You can't just neglect the people who put you there. So he came in, he fed the family. He got all his old boys in, gave them contracts. They're all doing well. Malaysia hasn't played football in over a year, but he's well paid. Dutch league connection. I respect it. But when you look at the club, right, and they are now heading in the right direction. They've made some really clever and shrewd decisions
Yeah.
recently. But when people say Man United are back, the direction that they're heading in is not what made them dominate for 20 years, right? What made them dominate for 20 years was having a generational manager. Simple, clean cut, done. They don't have a generational manager right now. I don't care what moves you make, you're never going to get back to that level of where United were back in the day. The reason why Man City dominate is because they have a generational manager.
Yeah.
There's no team that dominates without a generational manager. I don't care what kind of structure you want to put in place. We've seen now with Chelsea, you can go get the best structure in the world, the best recruitment, the best scouting. It doesn't matter. You need a generation. You need difference makers, right? United don't have a difference maker. I don't think Ten Hag is a difference maker. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. That's about it. That's the end all be all of their analysis. So the fact that people knew going into that game that Fulham can win at Old Trafford simply because United had a few injuries, that's sad. That's where you know your level has gotten to when people can go into a game against a team like Fulham who have completely underachieved this season, who haven't particularly been very good. They were better last year, missing their talisman in Palinia, and they can come to your ground and people are saying, I think Fulham might have something for me here. That's sad. And the fact that the game, they were thoroughly outclassed, they weren't deserving of anything. They tried to snatch something in the end and got pegged back into their place. It just tells you the kind of team that we're dealing with. And I'm saying this, with a little bit of like muted tone because they can still go on to finish above Spurs. They can lose 8 more games and still finish above. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if maybe their wins, they get 6 points for them, but the math doesn't really math with this team. They underperform for weeks. You look up in the table, they're right there with you. So I don't know what. All I can say about United is I don't know what's going on.
Uh,
I don't know what's going
okay.
on. That's it. There's
Okay.
nothing else to say. The Rashford thing, right?
Okay.
I've been a huge.
Sorry. Let me just rephrase the question a bit. Right. Let me just give
Okay.
you this quick question: Is Marcus Rashford world class in your view?
No, no, no. I don't think Rashford has ever been world class, right? Mike, and the thing is, one thing that we've always said is the definitions differ. And I think even Rio was saying this when he had the whole Foden and Saka conversation. My definition of world class is a lot stricter than most people's, right? For the longest, I didn't consider Kane to be world class. And honestly, if I'm to be perfectly honest with you, and like you really like poke at me, I think Kane is borderline world class. I
Yeah,
think
Wow.
he is world class,
yeah.
but I think it's like he's on the border. He's snuck in due to consistency and performing at a high level over the years. But I think he's right there on the border. He hasn't taken a step into world class territory where he's not sitting down chilling. He's not
Wow.
chilling at all,
Wait.
right?
So what does
Wow.
Kane need to do to be world class?
Wow.
I think you need to perform in certain moments, right? Because when I think world class, I think moments. One thing I used to always argue with Spurs fans about, right, was how many moments can I think of Kane? I can't think. Besides that City game, the 3-2, right, with the last minute header, I can't think of many more. I can think of stats. I can argue about stats all day, every day with Kane. But and you all can admit this, right?
Oh.
How many moments can we think of Kane between club and country where we're just like, wow, that is a player. Like big moments, semifinals, finals, run-ins. You know what I mean? Like things like that. These are the moments, in my opinion, that define a player as world class. And
Wow.
players like Rashford, players they haven't been in these moments to even have these kind of performances, right? So I
Hmm.
can't call you world class if you don't have the consistency of a world class player, you don't have the moments of a world class player, and
Okay.
you don't have the mentality of a. Those are my three biggest criteria, right? I need to see mentality. I need to
Yeah.
see performances in big moments, and I need
Yeah.
to see consistency at the barest of the bare minimum. That's why for me, Kane is just barely world class because at least he has two out of the three. But
Okay.
but Rashford, I don't see any of those three things.
Okay.
Well, he
Adams.
is a quality player, and I like him, but he's just not world class for me.
Okay. Adams. Let me come to you now. Just exactly the same questions I asked Uzo. Is Marcus Rashford world class? And your analysis of Manchester United.
Well, no, Rashford is not world class. I think it's a little different from.
Has he ever been at any point in his career?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he has been world class. He's been very good. Like he's been close to. At some moments, maybe you would have thought that he would go on to be a world class player, but he hasn't, exactly hit those
Yeah.
heights. And but he just lacks consistency, and that's one big thing. Even be a good player, you have to be consistent, right? To be considered good, you have to be consistent, and he hasn't been consistent. He's not. oftentimes he's not the guy you can rely on for his team. He has not been that guy in a long time, and when it matters most, I don't think they will be looking to him to make the difference. So for me, I don't think he's world class. I think we've moved past that. We've moved past that Marcus Rashford world class debates. Right now, we're talking about we have bigger fishes to fry. We're talking about Saka and guys
But
like that.
yeah, just because of we are discussing Manchester
Yeah,
United,
you're
that's
okay.
sort of
Yeah,
rash. Okay, I just wanted to let me add this in to the discussion, right? Do you think since Alex Ferguson left, Manchester United has been on the decline, right? Do you think the Manchester United decline post Sir Alex Ferguson has kind of affected Rashford? So let's assume like Manchester United were operating at the level of City and Liverpool over the last couple of years. Do you think Rashford would have reached those heights that people thought he would reach? Because at some point there was some people who were even jokingly or seriously saying, "Oh, this guy is on Mbappe's level." I,
yeah. I think so. I think that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Like there's, I mean, we'll never know, right? We'll never know. But
yeah, we never knew.
if he played under Alex Ferguson,
MB young boy, man. That guy ain't no Mbappe, man. Get out of here. That guy ain't no Mbappe. You know, the more interesting question I'll tell you, Pius, is are there any world class players at United besides the ones that we already know were world class before they got there, like a Varane or a Casemiro?
no,
Are there any world class players at United? I
no,
No,
don't think there are.
no.
they're not.
And I don't think anyone's performing at a world class level in the last year or two,
Unless you
right? So
want to sneak in Bruno Fernandes. Bruno
I,
Fernandes.
I knew that was the name,
Not under
and
Uber much.
Alhamdulillah, not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Bro, they
Right?
compare this guy to Frank Lampard. Last time I said, like, Frank Lampard gets compared to everybody. Like, he's
Yeah,
so unfair. I,
even currently, they even compare him to some people. Even argue if you go to Twitter now, people argue that this guy is better than Kevin De Bruyne. They will bring out. I think there's a. If you look at their stats, I think he has more goals. Yeah,
Well, not this season. Not this season. This season he's been in the dumps where he
like
rightfully deserves to be, but he hasn't been getting his usual hop, skip penalties
yeah.
and his long ball spam assist. They've forced him to play correct football. And the guy is absolutely in hell. But yeah, I mean, just even as a human being, bro, I don't think I've despised anybody more. You watch this guy, the complaining, the flailing of arms, the rolling on the floor. How this guy gets voted as the captain of one of the biggest teams in England is just it blows my mind. It tells me that the decision makers, the movers and shakers in football, has fallen off, man. Because there's no way a guy like that would have ever ascended to the heights that he's ascended to and given the license to do the haram and the terrorism that he commits on a weekly basis. But it is what it is.
oh
Long
my
may it
goodness.
continue. As long as it's hurting that team, I'm all good. And I know all this is going to come back to bite me if these guys finish above us, but I don't care. I don't care. Judging this team is just so difficult because they have a lot
They're
of
not a
characters
good
like a
team.
Bruno
They're not a good
Fernandes.
team. Like, we watch
They're not a good
football.
team.
Yeah, we watch football
They're
for
not
so
a good
long,
team.
and we know what a good team is, and that's not a good
That
team.
Luton game, they go up 2-0. Any other team, you're like, boy, long day for Luton. Nope. Luton were even unlucky to not have won, much
No,
less to have lost. It's
yeah,
crazy.
it
Yeah.
is. It
It
is.
is
It is.
absolutely crazy.
It is. Okay, but well, for Manchester United, for some Manchester United fans, they will just see this as maybe a blip on their road back to where they once were. They've been milking prior to this game, prior to the meltdown of the defeat yesterday. They've been milking the signings or in the that's the at this would I call them sporting directors now or football hierarchy people. They've been trolling Newcastle, say, "Oh, we stole your one of your guys," trolling Manchester City that, "Oh, we stole one of your top guys as well." So yeah,
Don't worry,
we
they'll soon get an electrician from Spurs to help with their new stadium, and then they'll talk about that as well for next week. Don't worry, we've been down this road with these guys. When Ten Hag came, it was the same thing. Eras come to an end.
yeah,
Cooking,
all these
moving in
possible vibes.
silence, one game at a
Football.
time. This is the same fan base, man.
That's the thing. Football fans are so reactionary, right? I'm
So
sure if they
reactionary.
win their next game now, everything is going to be all good and rosy. In fact, you will see tweets like, "Oh, we're back in the title race and all that. Yeah, so that's why we love. That's why we love this game. It will make the hate watching even interesting when they lose a game. Okay, let's quickly move on to Arsenal now. Time to talk on some other another currently serious football team doing serious things. So yeah, they destroyed Newcastle in their latest Premier League game. I think it ended 4-0. So making the title race really interesting. All three title teams won their last Premier League games. And Liverpool defeated Luton before for the victory today. So it's looking very interesting. Like I said, and I'll continue to maintain, this Premier League title is going to the final day. 12 more games to go. This is where you now start saying this is the running, right? This is where things start getting serious. And I think the Arsenal's victory was my only disappointment this weekend. I was thinking Newcastle frustrated them a bit, but
Nope.
it never happened at any stage in the game. And bearing in mind that Arsenal were coming off the back of a defeat in the Champions League to Porto in their first leg, you know, I'm gonna ask you guys about that as well. Arsenal's Champions League hopes, there's that belief within, there's that quiet talk within their fan base that they could actually go on and win this year's Champions League. But I'm sure bearing in mind from that first leg defeat to Porto, people are like, maybe not, maybe not. But me personally, I think Arsenal will turn it over in the second leg and destroy Porto. I think it will be like 4-0 or something. Like that game was just one of those games. So yeah, but whether they're going to win the Champions League, that still remains to be seen. But you never know. In football, you're looking at the top teams that are left in that competition. You're looking at Bayern Munich. They don't look at themselves. You're looking at Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. Real Madrid, for me personally, I know Real Madrid have been winning, but they're not that Madrid of those years, They look like you can catch them on one of these off days and you never know. So yeah, let me get your thoughts. Let me start with Adams this time. Adams, Arsenal, Champions League hopes. Where do you see it at? And in terms of the Premier League, I know you've always maintained that they can't win the Premier League. Are you still maintaining that, or you still think that they can make it?
Bro, I have them over you. So what are you saying? I have them over finishing.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
I think one thing about Arsenal is people are always too quick to bury them. I don't know why. Like other teams, well, I do know why because of their history of bottling and so yeah. But uh, this season, I knew there was something up with them. I knew even when they lose a game, it just feels like they will be back. Even during that stretch that they had, where they lost those games, I just felt like they were going to get back, and they
They'll
did.
bounce back.
Yeah. And I've also said to a lot of my friends that this Arsenal team feels like it just feels like a Champions League. They're built for the Champions League. They're built for like a knockout,
A cup,
yeah,
yeah,
a cup
knockout.
run. Yeah. So I actually see them going far in the competition. I think they might get to, depending on who they get drawn against, they might get to probably the semifinal. Who knows? Maybe the final. That's what I think. And I know this competition is about heritage. I know I don't think they're going to win, but I just feel like there's is different from when I watched them last season. It's different from the Arsenal's of those years. They just feel like they know how to tweak things. They know how to um they've shown that they can play in various ways, and the defense, the way they're just resolute defensively, they don't give away too many chances. Of course they lost away at Porto, but like you said, I think it'll be it will be a walkover at the Emirates. I think they'll do the business at the Emirates against that Porto team. But I just look at their defense and they look really solid. Like they look like they
Yeah,
don't give away too many chances, and that's what you need in a Champions League fixture. I know they are no longer away goals here, but they just look like
yeah,
they don't give away too many chances, and for certain they are going to create chances. They are going to
yeah.
create chances, right? Now
True.
it's now left to on that day, are they, do they have their scoring boots on? So it feels like they might have a deep Champions League run. I think I hope it doesn't happen, but I think that might happen.
That'll happen. Yeah, and motivation for them would be that this year's Champions League is at Wembley. The final is at Wembley. It's in England, so they will obviously want to be there. I have
Yeah.
an Arsenal fan that was like, he's tempted of buying tickets already for the final.
Oh, if they do that, then they're not going to the final.
They'll jinx it, right? And just quickly to touch on UEFA, I don't. What do you guys think? For me, I was pretty annoyed that they scrapped the away goal rule.
I was too. That was the
I
source
don't
of
I
the whole
don't know the logic
competition.
behind that. Let me ask Uzo. Um Arsenal in the Champions League, and what are your thoughts on as UEFA scrapping the away goal rule? I think that is going to make some of the games boring. What do you think?
Not really for me. It's been a couple years now, so I don't know. It seemed like people got a renewed outrage about it recently. I don't. I'm not sure why. I don't think it takes anything away. I think what it does is it sets up the return legs to be more entertaining than the first legs, which
Okay.
that's fine for me because it used to be the reverse where teams would go all out for it in the first leg, and then you'd have all these cagey, nasty games because some team is
Somebody has scored the away
protecting.
goal.
I hated the away goal rule. I'm different
Really?
that way.
But
But
okay.
what I was sad that they scrapped away was the
Was
golden goal. I liked golden goal. Away
bro,
goal
Golden
rule
Goal
was
was
always
useless.
cruel to me. You can't tell me that one goal is worth more than another goal because it was scored in a different stadium. That's absolutely stupid to me. So I'm glad that they got rid of it because I think what it sets up is more exciting. There's a reason why we're looking forward to the Emirates game, right? Because Porto cannot just go there and think, oh well, we just need to nick one goal. No, if they bang you 2-1, you're going to penalties. You don't.
But
There's no,
because the thing
oh,
is,
let's just get
that's
one
the case,
goal that
bro.
counts as three.
The first
You
is the
said
thing, we
what?
always look forward to those away games. If there was away goals now, we'll be more excited. We'll be like, oh, Porto can actually do something here. Like they can go over
Right,
there
but
and
now they're gonna need to earn it, and they're not gonna come out and do haram ball for what I mean, like 90 minutes and try to like scrape out. I remember, I don't know if it was the fixture with Dortmund against Chelsea, probably 2 years ago, the last time Chelsea were in the Champions League, when Dortmund came in on the back of a draw and then they tried to haram. Just oh no, I think they were up 1-0 on
Yeah,
on
they up one.
aggregate.
Yeah, Karimadi and yes, yes, they
Yeah,
up
I
one.
just I to me get rid of the away goal rule. I like it the way it is right now. As far as Arsenal's chances, like I was on a high when they lost to Porto because I know they're gonna turn it around,
Yeah,
but I wanted to enjoy the moments, the few moments that you can
yeah,
you can get with this fan base, because you know how they get once they lose, they think they should win every game in the world.
yeah,
They think they should win every game comfortably. So when they lose, like it's always fun, like watching their reactions. I know they're gonna. For one, it's not gonna be for another 3 weeks, so that's fun. You can banter them as much as you want until they turn it
yeah,
around. And what I wanted from Porto was what I got. Don't give them an easy game. Don't
yeah,
have it be an unreasonable margin. Tire them out so that Newcastle can finish them on the weekend. And Newcastle turned up and absolutely shit the bed. So yeah, they
yeah,
ruined my weekend. My hate watching was going swimmingly well, but having to watch Arsenal be this team is very, very tough as a Spurs fan. I have to admit that.
yeah.
Um, I think that off the title of the three title chasing teams, they look the absolute best right now by a large margin. It's not even close.
Wow.
Right now, they look like if they were to play either Liverpool or City
they're
on
blitzing them.
any ground, they're blamming them. That's what it looks like. And we've already
Yeah,
seen them do that to Liverpool. The way City are playing right now, boy, I need this Arsenal City game to get pushed back a bit. Let my boys find some form because I'm
because it
rooting
looks
for
like
City because I'm
it
not a
looks
fan
like
for
yeah,
Yeah,
them. Because right now it looks like if Arsenal were to play City, even at the Etihad, it would not be straightforward at all.
absolutely.
So of course, Ateta is doing a fantastic job. Unfortunately, their defense is looking like I don't want to upset Adams because I know he's had enough comparisons for today to make him
don't
want
do
to
that.
even
Don't
just run
don't
into
do.
the
Don't say
lagoon.
what you're about to say. Don't.
No, but I'm
Don't.
going. I'm going to give
That,
it a
that's
bit more
that's that's
context.
disrespect, bro. Don't even.
I'm about to give it a bit more context. Just hold on. The thing is, you're going to agree with me in the end. In this stretch of 5 games, right, that we've seen, not on the whole season, but in this stretch of 5 games, their defense is looking like the prime
Don't
Chelsea Mourinho
don't
defenses.
don't.
And the
Wow.
reason why I say that is because they are killing your drive to attack. Like it's not about the personalities. Those Chelsea teams clear them, obviously, easily. But I'm looking at like, of course, Raya is not Czech, of course. But when I'm watching teams play Arsenal, they don't even look like they want to attack anymore. They look like it's just like get me off the field. It's cool, whatever. And I haven't seen that kind of fear of God put into teams since, because we know Chelsea used to win games with just absolute muscle and just taking your will. It wasn't about tiki taka or outplaying. They just come in, break your spirit, game's done. And Arsenal have been doing that to teams recently, and it's absolutely sad to watch. I have
It
to admit
is.
it.
It
It's
is,
sad to watch. I don't want to see this.
bro.
This is not the world that I want to live in.
I
So my
have
only hope is that they bottle it.
I have them above Liverpool, which means if City don't win it, then it's Arsenal.
Whew.
Arsenal wins it.
Bro,
Let me say it right now. If Arsenal is to win anything, the league, Champions League, whatever, you're not gonna see me again. My account is getting deactivated. I don't want to live in that world. That's not the world or the
bro,
reality
that's what
that
I'm
I
saying.
need to
Like,
be living in.
okay, you guys, Liverpool, maybe that you guys might have something for us.
I
Maybe,
would rather Liverpool win it for
yeah,
sure.
for
One
sure, for
thousand
sure, for
percent, I would
sure,
rather Liverpool
for
win this
sure.
league. The thing is, one thing I'll say though, to bring everyone down to earth, Arsenal are also simultaneously, as much as they've been playing well, they're the most overrated team to have never won anything in my entire life. The way this team gets praised, right? Because if I'm to be honest, they haven't done more than Pochettino Spurs did, right? During that run of 5 years that
I don't
we
want to
had.
hear that name, man.
They haven't done more than that. They haven't done more than Tuchel's Chelsea did. They haven't, right? If we're being objective. There was a run of games where Tuchel was beating Tim 7-2, 6-1, lining them up. Defenders were scoring headers. So as much as Arsenal are flying right now, the overrating of this team is insane. People were talking about this team like they're a generational team that won six
Yeah,
trophies in
I
one
saw,
year.
I saw,
So let's all calm down.
I
Go
We
and
saw.
do
just did, we
something
just
first.
did
Let's
that
all
right
calm
now. Though.
down.
Let me
You
just
just
add. I
compared
saw.
them to the greatest Chelsea defense, the greatest defense ever.
No,
Adams, I'm
no,
setting them up.
no.
I'm
Oh,
preparing the
nice one.
table.
Yes, you're ready
And then I
You
saw.
can't tear down if you haven't built up.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
as part of the, I don't know if you guys saw it online. As part of the bans that they were bantering them during the midweek loss to Porto, right? I saw where a rival. Oh no, we saw where they brought up a video of where an Arsenal fan, I think before the Porto game, was doing his combined Arsenal and Real Madrid 11.
Yeah,
You will
that's
not
that
believe.
Egal
Bro,
I
TV.
that's
think it
their
was
new thing now.
only Bellingham made the team from Madrid.
Absolute joke. Absolute joke.
See, and
And if
you
you
know,
tell them to do it, if you tell them to do it now, after this Havertz performance, I'm sure Havertz will go in over Bellingham.
I know the funny thing is when they cry, it will not look like we didn't see all these things coming. Very soon, very soon they'll start complaining about a striker. Just watch,
Yeah.
wait for it.
There's always an excuse when they lose, and there's always overblown exaggerations when
Wait
they
for
win.
it. They
Eh,
still start
Remember
bringing back the Pate
yeah.
story that I say, oh, Thomas Pate is in.
After the Porto loss, the first thing I heard was, "Oh, without Jesus, we're not as fluid. Oh, Zinchenko is able to link our midfield better. Oh, when is Partey coming back?" And then they go back to winning on the weekend. No more
Oh, they never,
No
conversation.
never try.
problems again. And
Just
then
my thing is for Arsenal fans, enjoy the right. You're good again. We can all put our hands up and say we were wrong about Ateta. He's actually a good coach. He's going to
yeah,
compete for things. But calm down. You haven't done anything yet. Stop
yeah,
talking about your players like they're generational. Even when I make the comparison with Chelsea, I never once said any of these players are like for like with any of those legends. And that's my thing with Arsenal fans. Calm down. Stop comparing Saka to Bale. Stop. Stop comparing Saliba to Van Dijk
okay,
to
all
John
right.
Terry to Rio. Stop.
Now that
Wait
you
till they do something. Let them do something, man.
guys,
That's
now
all.
that you brought up
That's
the
all.
comparison, let's do one comparison before we end or close out the show, right? So let's jump in on the Saka versus Foden debate. Where are you guys with those guys? Where are you? At least there's no Arsenal and City fan among us, so this should be a neutral, balanced, fair comparison. I want to hear you guys'
Of a
thoughts.
Spurs fan here.
Saka versus Foden. Oh, a Spurs fan. But I trust Uzo is going to be objective. I trust him. So
Oh,
Adams,
always objective.
let me start with
You know
Adams.
me.
Right, Saka, Foden.
Bro, I feel like this is one of those ones where it's never ending. It depends on when you ask the person. Right? It depends on when you ask the person at that moment in time. That's what is going to solidify your argument. But I like Foden a lot. I like the type of player that he is, but Saka is just the guy for his team. Right now, I feel like Saka edges it for me. But like I said, we could come back 2 weeks from now and it will be Foden. It's just that type of argument where he's always tilting depending on how good or bad they have their form is at the moment.
Moment, yeah. Okay. Uzo, what's your take?
Yeah, I think the original debate was if Saka was world
World
class, and I
class,
think
yeah.
Rio insinuated that Foden was world class, but I think he later walked it back and said like, not yet. Neither of them are world class yet, right? They still need to do more. We have to raise the standard of world class, please. We can't just allow
Yeah.
everybody into the
But
club.
but but but,
So
but I think my thing for the world class thing is Saka has to be world class now in this era.
no.
That like
But
we can't like
people were saying, "Oh, you can't have no world class players." We have 3 world class left wingers. We don't need to have world class players in every single snippet of a position. We have world class attackers, but people are like, "Oh, but he's the best right winger in the world." So because there's no right wingers in the world, we should now automatically make someone that's not fit the
Uzo, let me
criteria.
ask you.
He's not world class.
Uzo, who are your current world class players now? Who are your world class players now for you?
Mbappe, Vinicius, Lautaro Martinez.
Lautaro Martinez.
bro, Lautaro world class.
Lautaro is world class. You're leading a team to the league titles. You're world class. You led a team to the final. You're world class. What are we saying here?
What do you mean lead?
These are
What do
moments.
you mean? What do you mean lead?
Who,
You need to be
who,
clear.
who on Inter Milan?
Lead.
Who
You
is
need to be
Inter?
clear. What do you mean by lead?
Who is Inter Milan's talisman? Who is Inter Milan's talisman?
When?
It's Lautaro. There's no debate.
Okay,
There's
Wait.
like zero-
Calm down. When he's the
Adams,
talisman,
Adams,
so how does that
Adams.
make him world class?
If you're the talisman on a team that gets to a Champions League final and wins, which
Wins
we're now
what?
saying 2 league titles.
2 league
He's
titles.
won 2 league titles now. Yes.
Uzo, let me ask you this
So
killer
that
question.
makes
He's
him
won
world
domestic
class.
cups.
That
Wait,
makes him
so
world
let me
class.
do-
Come on,
Who
bro.
does-
Yes, dude. Do we want to wait? Hold on. Do we want to pull up Lautaro's accolades
That makes him
Uzo.
world class because he won 2 league titles. Bro, no, come on, no.
as the talisman? It's not like he won it as the 15th sub.
Uzo,
What are we
let me ask-
saying?
Uzo,
Hey,
Lautaro.
what else does a man? So Saka is world class, and Lautaro is. I'm off the show. Let me off my mic.
Bro, we never. This guy.
Saka is world class, and Lautaro Martinez is not.
He's not world
I've heard it
class.
all.
Harry Kane is not world
I've
class,
heard it
but
all.
Lautaro is world class.
I said Harry Kane is, but he's
Exactly.
not comfortable in it. That's what I said.
but
He's not
Lautaro is
comfortable in it.
comfortable in it.
He is because he's won league titles as the talisman.
Bro.
He won a World Cup
Is Lukaku-
as an important member of the team.
Is Lukaku world class?
No,
Why?
He's not.
Why
Never
is he
been.
world class?
what is he
Scored
done?
more goals than Lautaro in that season that they won the league.
He's not the talisman, though. He's not the talisman.
What do you mean?
Anybody
He
can
was
look
the-
at that
he was
Inter
the
Milan
best player
team.
on the team. You could say he was the
He
best.
was not the
player.
best player on the team.
Oh,
He was
well,
the
we
goal
could
scorer. but
argue about that all day.
From the
We
from
could
the
argue
from the
about
mouth
that
of
all day.
Lukaku himself, from the mouth of Lukaku
Bro,
himself,
he was being-
he
he
gives
was-
all the credit to Lautaro. No, forget about that. He's been. You can watch objectively and know that Lukaku's success came directly as a result of Lautaro's importance to the system. The
You can
system
say-
is
you can say
built
the same
around
thing too.
his
You can say the same
unique
thing too.
ability.
You could say the same thing too. Lautaro
About who?
before Lukaku came, they were not close to win the league.
Also, okay, so Lukaku won 1 league title. Lautaro is now on 2. He's won domestic cup since Lukaku left. He went to a Champions League final as well. Like, what are we saying?
Lautaro isn't world class to me, man. He isn't world
Why?
class.
I'm sorry.
Why?
Lautaro
sorry.
isn't
No,
world
my question is why? What does he need to do?
Bro, he's
If you go look at his numbers, he's clear of every striker in Serie A. So unless we're saying Serie A has no, if I hear Osimhen's name,
No,
if I hear Osimhen's name,
I never said Osimhen.
because I know, Adams, I know you better
You
than
said
anybody else.
you
Through your glasses, you tried to hide your eyes through your glasses. I can still
argument.
see
You
in the
said
depth
you
of your
wanted
eyes.
title
I know
as
the
a
name that was coming next.
You said
I
you
know
won
the
the
name that
title
was
as a
coming next.
talisman, right? And that qualifies him. You won, and
I didn't say he won the title. I said he's won 2 league titles now, and he's gone to a Champions League final. So until guys can bring that resume to the table,
that's a
and
very,
he's won a World Cup.
That's a very big.
Lautaro won a
I
World
can pull
Cup.
off from the top of my head that I've won 2 league titles and gone to Champions League, and they're not
As the talisman, please give me names. As the
And-
talisman, give me names.
Okay,
I want to hear. Give me names.
Was Diego Milito world class?
At a point, yes. At a point, for sure.
So he was world class
Milito
for
is
one
not a
season.
bum.
He was world class for one season.
You can get in and out. It's not a permanent tag. It's not a permanent tag. You
So
can get in and out of
at
it.
what point
I
did
don't think
Lautaro
Casemiro is
become
world
world
class
class?
anymore, right?
At
Casemiro was world class. He ain't anymore.
At what point did Lautaro become world class? That's what I want to know.
I think this season is when he really solidified his stance as a world class player.
Man,
This season,
Lautaro
he's the
is
highest
world
performing
class.
striker in all the top 5 leagues by far.
And that doesn't mean that
Well,
you see
him
the
and
same
Kane.
thing for Saka.
Him and Kane.
That doesn't mean because he's the best right now.
No.
Doesn't mean he's the one.
Hold on. Is Saka leading his team to a league title? Am I tripping?
Saka,
have I died and gone to heaven
now,
and Saka has won?
Right now, Saka is right. Saka
Oh, so
leading
he's
his team.
clear at the top of the league and he's won. He's won the league
Okay,
already.
but nothing
right?
is won through Lautaro now. Nothing is won yet.
It's won. It's done. They're clear. They're super clear of the league.
Okay,
guys.
My point is, this is contingent on his. Okay, so let me give some more names.
you know
right?
what? That season, based on your logic, that season Osimhen was world class that season. Yes or no? Osimhen was world class that season.
No. Listen, he was performing at a world class level. Yes,
bro. I don't think
Hold on.
You can't have
hold
three
on.
world class players and
Hold on
Lautaro
now.
is the third one. You're putting Lautaro in the same group as Mbappe and Vinicius. No, he's not. He's not that. He's not that level. He's the step lower.
Hold on.
He's
I
not.
didn't say I put them. Listen, Vinicius and Mbappe are Ballon level talents, right?
But Lautaro is
When
not
you say
in
world
Ballon
class-
category. He's not.
He's not.
Exactly,
He's not
and
at this moment in time. But you don't have to be. You don't have to be Ballon level to be world class, right?
Is Haaland
I
world
thought
class?
that-
Is Haaland world class?
Of course, Haaland is world class.
Exactly. Is Haaland not better?
course
Is he not
he is.
better than Lautaro?
There's players in the world class category that are better than
that's a
each
different
other.
debate.
Of course,
That's a different
Mbappe is clear of all of these guys put together times 2, but they're all in the
Lautaro
same
is in world
category.
class, Uzo. Lautaro is in world class.
Okay, guys.
You know, you can hold that argument,
especially
right?
with
I
the
think
standards that we knew before, the standards that we held.
every box is checked in mentality, consistency, performing in big moments. That's all I needed to see, and he's done that. But for me, you can argue that he's new in the club. He's still trying to find his section. He's not settled. Security can still come and remove his wristband.
Bro, he's
at
not.
any
He's,
point in
he's
time.
outside. He's still outside.
Him
telling
and
them.
Kane,
He's outside telling them.
him and Kane, they are at the bar trying to order drinks.
No, that's not true.
They haven't got section
Lautaro
yet.
is still
Mbappe
outside.
is in the
Outside.
VIP section.
He's trying to tell the bouncer, bro. Now, Afa, now I know you now. Bro.
That's Saka. Saka is outside. He's trying to bribe the security guy,
Lautaro, man.
but I've got my eyes on him.
That's Lautaro.
But my thing with the Saka, hold on, with the Saka and Foden thing, right? I think right now Saka is clear of Foden. Not clear, sorry. Saka is better than Foden right now because he's been asked to do more. So he's been further along in his maturity process. He's doing more for his team. He's carrying his team. He's being required to reach higher levels consistently than Foden is. But they're both like world-class potential talents. And I think that Foden has achieved more and he's been asked to do more in higher stakes, right? But Saka has been asked to do more in general. Also, Saka is more versatile, so he can play more positions. He's more physically developed. He's stronger, so you can see him being built for that carry job. Whereas a Foden, you don't know if he can go through 38 games in a season as the focal point of a team because he hasn't been asked to do that yet. So for me, Saka right now is ahead of Foden development-wise, but they're both world-class talents, and neither are world-class right now.
Well said. Well said.
Okay. All right, said, man. Well said. All right, guys. Right, guys. Okay. It's time for us to look ahead now. As we hit the what's it called now? Towards the end of the show. Midweek FA Cup action for some of our teams, and
Adams is Rich James world-class. Sorry, Paris, he's been biting me. He's won the
let's-
Champions League.
We'll
No,
continue
right
the
now,
conversation offline.
You have to be available, man. He's not. But at some
Okay.
point, yes. At some point, yes. He was showing world class.
I think I agree because at some point there was like even I think
Trent is world-class.
Oh yeah,
Trent is
100%
world
world
class.
class. Trent
Yeah.
is
Van Dijk world-class. Salah world-class.
Salah is world class. Eden Hazard was world class.
Alisson world-class. The Hazard is playing in charity games, but we keep going at the age of 33.
guys. Okay, right. So let's
charity class.
Alisson is world class. Yeah.
we're
Alisson is
towards the end of the show right now. So let's quickly look at it too. So FA Cup. I just want to get some of your predictions for some key games, right? Uzo, Adams doesn't want to predict Chelsea games, so let me ask you. FA Cup fifth round.
They'll beat
Chelsea
Leeds.
versus
They'll beat Leeds.
Chelsea
They'll
Leeds.
beat
They'll
Leeds.
beat Leeds, right?
They'll beat Leeds. They'll beat Leeds. Leeds are a good team, but
Yeah.
again, the people over analyze Chelsea. The same thing they did with Middlesbrough. You thought they were gonna come on, they bland them 6-0. They'll beat Leeds. Leeds are an exciting, good team. They'll be back in the league, of course. It won't be as straightforward. I think it'll be high scoring because I think both teams play expansive. Also, I think Chelsea might be a little knackered from this game, but I think they'll beat Leeds. If they don't beat Leeds, they'll probably go to a replay. But I don't think they can afford two terrible results back to back.
Back. Yeah.
Portugal's
Okay.
the final was very important. That game now becomes more important than the final because you're out of both cups, which means you're officially mathematically out of all hopes of any trophy.
Bro,
Yeah.
what are we even doing in the cups in the first place?
No, but there's still small hope. If you
Yeah,
kill
of
that
course.
hope in the same week, you can't afford to
yeah,
do that. You can't afford. They know they need a performance. So yeah.
Okay, Adams. Let me ask you: Luton versus Manchester City.
Oh man, of course, City.
Wow.
City.
Luton is at home. Luton is at home.
Ooh, bro,
So
there's gonna be an
Luton
upset in that one.
At the Kennys.
the way Luton played against United, boy.
Yeah, like, listen,
City's going to
I think
use
it's
them
gonna
to
be a
pick
draw.
from.
I think it's gonna be a draw.
You think it's gonna be a draw, so there'll be a
Yeah.
replay.
Yeah.
Interesting prediction. Brave prediction, man.
Oscar Bob hat trick.
And
City
then
go
finally,
through
right.
6-1.
Yeah, I'll be
6-1.
there. He says 6-1.
Book it.
Finally, Nottingham Forest, Manchester United.
I'll be there. I'll be there for
You know what? I'm going bold here. Forest are
Forest.
winning outright. Yeah,
All right, we are going to
outright.
come back to this.
Winning outright.
Okay, guys.
Because I watched Forest game against Villa, and as bad as they were still in that game at some point. They brought it back to 3-2, and they definitely showed some fight. Hey, Forest that's Spurs gene. How many Spurs coaches are in the league right now?
bro. Both
I
of
don't
us,
know,
man. They
man.
need to do something. The league needs to do something about it. This is something about those Spurs.
Welcome. 6 finals in a row. When did Poch get there? Was Poch the coach for all 6 finals?
All right,
Right.
All right, guys. Okay, so
Bottle jobs. Bottle jobs.
What? Arsenal fans.
You don't list 6 finals in a row.
The only people that you can say bottle jobs to is Arsenal fans, and it's vice versa. That's the only
Chelsea
people.
are there now. Six in a row. Arsenal 6 straight Champions League knockout games in a row. Losses. Maybe all of London is just bottling FC. All of us.
Well, we used to be the savior, but maybe Fulham has to rise, do something.
It's West Ham. In West Ham we trust.
Oh yeah, West Ham.
all right.
West Ham are above you guys now. You're 11th.
They've been above us all season. So
Wow.
Tough, man. Tough.
I would just say Chelsea will surely bounce back from where they are now. It's just
I hope they don't.
the
If
question.
not, this show will stop getting views. They need to stay where they are so we can keep getting raw, passionate Adams.
It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when will Chelsea get back to their former self. Okay, guys. We've come to the end of the show. Just in terms of some other football news. I don't know if any of you watches beach soccer. So the beach soccer World Cup just ended today. Brazil went home with the trophy. Sorry,
Guys, is this men's or women's? Because I'm suspecting you.
no, of course, there's no women's beach soccer. So
There's
it's
no women's
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay.
men's beach soccer. And,
I'm not surprised Brazil will win beach soccer though.
Yeah, they are.
Just feels like
Exactly.
if Brazil you had to do.
Volleyball, beach soccer, Brazil is always there. And currently
That's where Anthony needs to be playing. Anthony, get him on the team.
Bro, you can't even
The most expensive beach soccer signing. Let him go and be doing his pirouette there.
He can't even survive. He can't survive.
That guy couldn't even get meaningful minutes on his birthday against Fulham at home. Absolutely. That should be investigated. You want to talk about padding your paddy's pockets? They padded Anthony's pockets, man. Holy.
Okay.
Horrible transfer.
And currently the qualifiers for the Olympic Games football events is currently going on. So Brazil will not be there. They were knocked out by Argentina in the men's category. in Africa, the women's category is currently going on first
I think
leg.
there was like a protest about that, right? When Brazil, because I think Hendrick was playing in that game.
Yeah, Hendrick was.
And, like the fans like invaded and like it was like something chaotic or something like
The
that.
Brazil, they don't always like to lose, but anyways, they're not going to be in the Olympics football event for men. For women, the African section, first leg of the penultimate round has been played. Ghana lost at home to Zambia. This goal scorer was the most expensive women's player in history, Rachel Kundinaji. Good player, goal scorer there. So the second legs of the games are coming up on Monday and Tuesday. Nigeria is we played a 0-0 draw away to Cameroon. Scandalous refereeing, by the way. I don't know if you've seen, like, Nigeria scored two good goals and somehow they were cancelled. But
I
well,
saw one of the
the second
goals.
Abuja on Monday. So hopefully the girls will qualify for the Olympics. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Please, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please do well to drop us a comment.
Like, comment, subscribe, man. I don't always spit tire. I've been passionately cooking all
Bro,
show.
but
Come
but the
on.
subscribers are actually going crazy, man. We're up to like 6K now. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Well,
Yeah,
Guys,
we
don't
just
stop now. Come
yeah,
yeah,
we
on.
just
Let's
need
celebrate 10K.
you know.
we just need the
Just
views.
like Onana is drinking goals, let's drink subscribers, man. Come on. Please.
All right.
Yeah,
Like, comment.
We'll see you bad guys back here again next week. Take care, man. Good
peace
show.
out.
Take care. Come on, you blues. $1 billion.